directfires.com. No one even walks through your house. You got their price, even at $15,000 cash advance before closing to help with your move. It happens very quickly. Within 10 days. Call 844-242-SELL. They'll never evolve. Did I say that already? Never. Call 844-242-SELL. Visit directfires.com. SoCal weather from KFI. More sunshine is on the way this weekend. Today, though, it looks like we're going to have to wait for the gray to go away before that sun comes out later this afternoon. There is still a 20% chance of maybe just a slight shower this morning. Otherwise, more sunshine later in the day. Highs in the mid-60s, but we could see lower 70s for tomorrow.
May I ask why I keep getting booted?
80 by Sunday. 52 right now in Brea, 53 in Dana Point. Happy Friday, Jeff Ball. What's up on the 405?
Well, right back at you, Jennifer. Thank you. Yes, weather's weather and kicking off plus zero all week. I hope it clears away quick. It's actually the 5 approaching the 12. I worded that badly. Sorry, Jennifer. But if you are coming through the new all that, it's better than it was a little while ago. There was a fight crash South 5 at the 405 split. So they're clearing it now, and the delays are kind of going away. It was really jam power right at that north there. But other than that, San Fernando Valley looking pretty good. The 405, the rest of it down to the 101. It's busy. That seems to stop if it wasn't. But at least everybody's moving along. There's no terrible crowd over the studio city and all that. South 170, South 5, we're off to a pretty good start. Really no problem. There's a few problems I'm going to follow up on if you head this way on the westbound 105 getting in towards LAX. The one out in the 710 and one before the 110 from one that's going up. And I just want to remind you, the actually Long Beach Grand Prix all weekend long in Long Beach, Bella Party. We use sunset this weekend. Stay up in the sky, up 50 there, Master. I'm Jeff Ball.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blinds.com. Shopping for new blinds at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blinds.com. For official rules and more information about contests on this station, go to KFIAM640.com/rules. Why do you think I can't light up spray kits, wayfarers, and dolphin shorts? Those are the tools of my trade. And now the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5. Oasis Pool and Groom Practice. With a room, places in the cabana, and one custom free play, so let's play at special prices. Call 888-MORONGO today. Number 4. The Farm Press Cuba Rate. Give a watch with the course to upgrade to a short slide. And earn $5 points on the reward card. 17 or 18. 3. Rob Schneider. Rob's May 26th. Tickets now.
And the number 2.
The cards, ruffled feathers touch the best chicken sandwiches in town. Find our food for today.
And the number 1 reason.
We're the best. From the Inland Empire to the TRILLIONAIRE. More people agree, Morongo is the best place for good times.
Morongo, good time for everybody.
Legal representation will change the direction of your life. If you've been injured, 888-OPO-WIN.
Live AM 640.
And iHeart Radio Station.
AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Handle here. On a Friday, April 14th, we return to Handle on the news with Jennifer Wayne.
And I'm giving you a little inside baseball here, Handle. So this morning, I did a story on Wake Up Call about the science behind the earworm. So I'm just warning you that most of the songs I have a feeling that Tyler is going to play this morning are going to be earworm worthy. So it's like that one there, which will be in your head.
Okay.
All right. So in this next story, we've got the gunman in the shooter in Louisville. He apparently, when he was in elementary school and high school, he was an athlete. His family says that there were 3 different times, maybe in one, let's see, 2 was an 8th grade football player, 1 is a basketball high school freshman. Now, his family says that they are going to have his brain tested for TCE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which we find in a lot of football players. Did he have TCE? Is this what made him snap?
3 concussions, I would, based on what I've read, that's probably not enough. I mean, you're talking about football players. It's years of getting their belly strong. they have to autopsy the brain, take the brain out of there and look at it. And remember we heard stories, and many of them, where people look like they're dead, and all of a sudden they're not, and they wake up. Very few stories of people waking up with their brains out of their head. Very few. So now, thank you. Wanted to give you some comments there.
I wonder if the fact that there's 3 concussions were right in a row.
I don't know. Well, I
think your fracture.
yeah, it could be. But I don't care. Yeah, I would doubt that 3 would do it. I have no idea. I'm just speculating here. No idea. I'm not a doctor, although I say one on radio. And if they find CTE, then what? Yeah. Well, what is the import for this? The reason that we even know about. Then it takes all the morality issues out of it. Parenting issues. Somehow parenting wrong. I mean, it's if I were a family member, I would feel better.
I think it's strictly for the family.
Could be. So that they can say that's why we did it. That's right. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's why we did it. How many people are walking around with CTE who that is going? This kind of violence is not part and parcel of having CTE. So I hear you're saying if it makes them feel better somehow to explain, well, they're the ones that are doing it. They're the ones that are doing it. And to your point, how many people walking around with CTE? How many people walking around with no brain? Very few. I'm going in that direction. I gotta tell you something. You're not a doctor by training, but when it comes to this one particular issue of what you cannot do without brains, literally, physically, without raising their head, you have been spot on. Thank you. Thank you very much. The gun that was used by this guy is going to end up being auctioned off to the public, and the mayor of Louisville doesn't like it, but he has no choice because that is a law in Kentucky that was passed in 1998 that weapons keys must be turned over to the state, and the state auctions those guns off. And the mayor said the only thing they can do at that level is remove the firing pins before they turn the gun into the auction off. And hopefully, well, it doesn't matter, but somehow not being identified as used as a tool that all of a sudden it becomes something that a lot of people want. Yeah, if it's known, yeah, there's going to be a bidding war. Of course there is. Also, Kentucky has one of the most pro-gun laws that exist in the United States. And if we talk about the AR-15, utterly devastating, dangerous, beyond comprehension this weapon is. And that's someone is shouting.
All right, if you are a PG&E, SCE, or San Diego gas and electric customer, get ready for changes to your bill. Why? Well, because there's a new proposal that would add a fixed monthly charge that would be based on the income of your household. So, how it would look is, as far as PG&E, I do have this one. So if you earn less than $28,000 a year, for your whole house, you would have a $69,000 that bumps up to $30 a month. If you're over $180,000, $51 a month, and anything over that, that was up to, anything over $180,000, you get a new extra $92 a month. They say that these are not new charges, but that they're restructuring the components of providing and delivering power, i.e., I call that the country to a means vested utility bill. Yeah. This is fairly new. It's not based on how much utilities, how much energy you use. It's if you make it up for $120,000 a year, then you lose your job, then you drop down to somebody who's earning less than $28,000. When the PG&E or whatever get the, who tells them, hey, Bob lost his job? You don't need it. The application makes an audit. They have your tax return, although they can't have your tax return. So, it's just unintended consequences. There we go. Magic, you just pointed one out. We'll come back and finish Handle on the news on this Friday morning. Let's check in with Jennifer live at the KFI 24-hour newsroom. It's another milestone for California's drought. More than 90% of the state is no longer dry. A top Russian diplomat says the Kremlin might be willing to discuss a prisoner swap involving Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. And the Washington Commanders may be close to having a new owner. Dan Snyder reportedly has accepted a preliminary deal to sell the
You own a small business and you got through COVID, and you have 5 or more employees that stayed with you through COVID, you are able to, you may be eligible to receive a tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Do the math on that one. 5 times 26,000 minimum. Go to getrefunds.com, and all you do is answer a few questions online that takes under 10 minutes, and you'll see if your business qualifies for this payroll tax refund. No charge up front either. It's contingency.
What up, this Bertie Signaler, Space Cowboy, how are you?
And businesses of all types can qualify, including businesses that PPP money, nonprofits. Even if you had increases in sales during COVID, that's a plus. They are experts in this little-known payroll tax refund program, have returned $3 billion to businesses. In my business, a six-figure refund. Go to getrefunds.com, click on the qualify me button, and answer those questions. Getrefunds.com.
SoCal weather from KSI should be mostly sunny later this afternoon, although we do have just a slight chance of a little more drizzle this morning. The highs today will be in the upper 60s to right at 70s. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places this time to 105.
Good morning. It's Keith showing us now. We're in pretty good shape everywhere, but we do have a few problems to worry about. Number one, going to LAX or any airport this morning on Friday is really busy. West 105 no exception at Central before the 110 is in the crash. It's almost at a lane now, but it's just plain slow. Lane is looking good. Eastbound, if you're leaving LAX, that's good. No problem there. Arcadia, Pasadena will come out potholes for weeks. It seems you got another one. Serious one, westbound 210 at Baldwin Avenue. That's just past San Anita racetrack. And to the east in Colton, there's some delays to worry about. West 10 to 215. Still from lane spots, about a 2-mile backup. And once you get past the 215, it's really wide open. Be careful. Stay up high in the sky. I'll get you there faster. I'm Jeff Frost.
We are in the seafood savings at Whole Foods Market. It's the number Lollipop Harbor for over 23% off this time for April 18th. Your one-go golf supply glass. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
This report is sponsored by Blindskirt.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindskirt.com, and I sell custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindskirt blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindskirt.com.
Want to go for a walk?
Tired of walking. I want a car.
So buy one.
I can't find one. There's no availability.
There is at Roto.com.
Really?
Yes. Tons of cars available right now. And at great prices.
Yes, but oh my road. What is the Lexus?
It's finally listen. The wait is over. Find new and pre-owned cars available right now by downloading the Roto app or check out Roto.com.
The flavors, the textures, and the size. What's some of my favorite food that have in the program? We've been on over a decade.
That is saying so much. You know what you eat?
Wait, no,
Checking how long that was
I don't think it's good. Sports Report with Neil Cavidra tomorrow afternoon at 2 on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Stand by. 8 a.m. 6:40 handle here, and one Cruise Friday, April 14th. We send a candle on the news that we send to Film 3, and E. They're still there, by the way, the people in this story, because I have a buddy who retired to this part of the country. He went and looked. And if you're going on the Interstate 5 through Eugene, Oregon, you will still see a few dummies out by the side of the road, combing through the bushes. They're looking for cash. Cash that was thrown out of a car on Wednesday after, and this is a hell of a story, after a guy with legitimate legal joint access to the family bank account cleared it out, went up the side and threw it all out the windows. Now, Wednesday and Thursday morning, the road was packed with people trying to pick up this cash. There really isn't any left. And the best part of the story, from a fascinating standpoint, is the police say the most that they could do to this guy is give him a disorderly conduct charge, because he had joint custody of that money. It is as much his money as anybody else's money, and if he wants to do that, he's allowed to do it. I thought it would simply be littering.
Honestly, I did too. Yeah. First thing I thought was just throwing stuff,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was a weird story.
So 2 days later,
we have some issues.
Right now, there's not a lot of them. Right now. There are people who think they're going to come across a stray dollar bill somewhere.
I wonder how much, there's no way to ever know, but the first few people, it's like mining for gold. When gold is discovered, it's those first few people, or in a pyramid scheme. You get in very early, you do really well. So, just wondering how well, $200 grand, that's a lot of money being thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it was quarters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No kidding now.
Disneyland has announced that it will hold its first official LGBTQ Pride Night June 13th and 15th, 9 to 1 a.m. It'll be called Disneyland After Dark. It goes on sale. The tickets to April 20th. They're $139.
I have a question about that. And Disney is always very pro-gay. And they have Pride Days at Disneyland. They get a party every year at Disneyland. And Chase Fund or whatever, they cut a deal, and it's from 9 to midnight. Same thing, or it's 9 to 1 a.m. But you have to be employee by heart. You have to show ID to get in. Now, you have to prove you are gay to get into Pride Night. Or is it income, is it only stated income on a form when you're borrowing money? Stated gayness, and they take you at your word.
Oh, my.
No, I thought we went to there. I just legitimately doing well.
Except that they don't, by its own design, say that it's limited. No.
I know, but it's pride.
So you don't have to. You don't have to lie. You can say whatever you are and go in. Here's what you have to have. Let me tell you, they're far more concerned about whether you have $139
than what your sexual orientation or gender identity. That's probably true.
Hey, people in Claremont, some of them, not all of them, are worried about flooding. Here's what's going on. The Army Corps of Engineers is releasing water from the nearby San Antonio Dam because of all the rain we've had. It was in danger of overflowing. But because there was so much rain, the same reason that they're doing this, the groundwater is already completely saturated. So when they release this water, it percolates up out of the ground, which cannot hold it, and it's starting to go into some neighborhoods there.
And I'm assuming those people at the lower elevations are complaining, although I have no idea what the city or even the feds, the Army Corps of Engineers, can do about it.
Well, you know what's interesting? We're going to be able to find out because KFI's Blake Crowley is live in Claremont, where he grew up, by the way, and he's covering the story for us all morning.
Doing the Australian crawl. He goes across for breaststroke as he's reporting.
All right, that route between Irvine and Oceanside will finally resume next week after months of work that they did through Central Money to stabilize that hillside there. So that's that passenger rail service through that area. And I think a lot of people, though, are saying, okay, great, we're glad that you stored this up and that this route is once again open. However, a lot of people who live in this area are wondering, what the structural engineers are going to find in the long run when it comes to how much of that area all needs to be restored up or whatever they have to do to make sure that a slide like this doesn't happen again.
In the long run, there will be nothing to store up.
Well, thanks, Al.
The erosion is going hot and heavy, and it's getting tough. Which is why I wonder, why would you spend $14 or $20 million for beachfront in Malibu on a house? That's going to be on stilts, much like it is in Louisiana in the swamp. I mean, that's literally beachfront. And the beachfront is behind you, the actual beach. And you're not going to see it. Have you ever been on that train? Kind of neat. You go, it's the Pacific train.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what parts of it are? The parts of it go to England, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I had no idea it was out of commission for months.
Yeah.
Now they're going to bring it back, and I suggest you guys grab it because it's not going to be around that many years. Well, they can reroute it inland where it just becomes a non-Pacific view. Well, the other coast. Hundreds of people in the Fort Lauderdale area are in shelters after 2 days of rain has triggered a bunch of flooding. Would you like to know how much rain they got in a 24-hour period? I know you do. 25.91 inches of rain in 24 hours. Yeah, from Wednesday into Thursday. It's being described as a once in a thousand year incident. We've had a lot of once in a thousand years, haven't we, the last few years? I think that's going to change the formula, right? I mean, this is crazy. See the video? Oh, yeah, the water goes to the airport. It is nuts. It is crazy. Yeah, they had that video of airplanes, of planes where the water is halfway up the wheels. And those wheels are pretty tall. Yeah, if you ever go anywhere near a plane. It's, yeah, a lot of water there. I mean, relatively speaking, we have been pretty lucky here, even with the huge rains in terms of damage. A lot of potholes, and that seems to be the big thing with potholes that's going on. That was our thing. Don't worry about those. There are these three guys at technical college, or they do go to. And these three guys are now using TikTok on this video that went viral, accusing some LA County Sheriff's deputies of use of force. These guys say that they were racially profiled and targeted by the deputies. So it was Monday, these three 19-year-olds said that they were walking to the store in South LA about 5:30, and earlier that day, the three of them had gone to their classes at LA State Technical College. They said that they had walked around the corner to the store as they were going to school that morning. They heard a car screech turn left, but it stopped. It hit the brake so hard that I turned around because it's kind of an dangerous neighborhood. They said, so I turned around to see who it was. He said the deputies had rolled down the window to speak to them. They said, come here. Really loud and aggressive, one of the guys said. And he said to them, no, why do you want me? We're just walking to the store. We have no business with you. The guy said that the deputies then got out of the cruiser and approached them, and that's when one of them started recording. And the video shows the deputies walking up to one of these three guys, grabbing him by the arm. He said they didn't leave him his rights at all. He's still recording. They're asking, why are you arresting? The video shows one of the guys with his hands in the air, not telling him what he's being detained for or anything. And so now the video has gone viral. Yeah, a couple of questions about this. First of all, it's legitimate stop. If they match the description of both the individuals and the car was close enough. One part of it earlier. Yeah, so that's a legitimate stop. And I think the only complaint you can have with the police is when they stop them, why are you stopping me? Is the cop didn't say, because you matched the description of, and that's why we stopped you. Now, where are you going? Where have you been? And by the way, didn't leave me my rights. They weren't even close to that. No, but they should have. I think, the way I read it, explain how do you read it? Yeah, I think that well, the sheriff's department said that, yeah, this one guy in particular matched the description of someone they were looking for. And if you start with an attitude, yep, this is how it goes. And I'm not defending that aspect of how cops interact with the cops have passed on this one. I don't think they did anything. Just responded to a guy that was just getting jerky to them and saying, why are you stopping me? As again, in my opinion, all they have to do is say, you matched the description. Now let's talk about where you've been and where you're going. All right, we're done. Coming up, that National Guardsman, accused of leaking top secret documents, and a little bit of history on top of that. KFR AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Whether you love it, hate it, or have it made up your mind, we're glad you're here. Los Angeles, Orange County, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's rising. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. As we just mentioned during Handle on the News, people in Claremont are trying to protect their homes from flowing groundwater. KFI's Blake Crowley reports live from Claremont. There could be several reasons for the rising water. The city says reasons include water being released from the San Antonio Dam, snowpack melting from Mount Baldy, and overall saturation from recent heavy rainstorms. More than 20 homes are affected by the rising groundwater. This morning, large hoses appear to be running from at least one home to the street, likely from a pump system. The pumps and sandbags have been set up to protect homes. The city initially told people about the right to homeowners about possible concerns, frustrations, and even possible damage. Reporting live in Claremont, Blake Crowley, KFI News.
Police in Long Beach say a man fatally stabbed on a metro train appeared to be targeted by three people. One of them assaulted the man Wednesday before another stabbed him multiple times. The attack happened almost a week after the stabbings were reported on metro trains in the Hollywood area and near MacArthur Park. Business owners in LA say naked homeless people around their buildings are creating a dangerous environment for clients and patients. Pediatric eye surgeon Dr. Kenneth Wright says he treats kids who are forced to walk by people who are nude and drugged up.
I've had buildings for 22 years, and over the past year, it's the first time it's been so bad like this. And I feel bad for the homeless people. They have nowhere to go.
Wright says the city needs to step in and create what he calls a township to move the homeless while they seek more permanent housing. LA City Councilwoman Kitty Klosky says she lives near Sandra Frankie and Orlando Avenue, that intersection, and that the conditions there are unacceptable. A nonprofit that helps to give the first responders killed or injured or went those killed in the 9/11 attack. We have helped. We have 600 hours. 38 of those children have been here already in the LA area. This provides support for about 100 children.
They also provide scholarships and help with a variety of things. Because people don't realize the trauma the child goes through when their parent goes to work every day to be a cop or firefighter.
U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada says his office has indicted two former LA County Sheriff's deputies for illegally detaining a skateboarder in Compton and causing injury to the young man when the patrol car he was in crashed during the pursuit.
What the alleged indictment is that not only did these two former sheriff's deputies violate the individual's rights, but they also went on to cover up what they had done.
Estrada says ex-deputies Miguel Vega and Chris Hernandez were on patrol in 2020 when it happened. A couple of months later, those same deputies were involved in the fatal shooting of 100 in California after police charged customers based on how much money they earned. SoCal Edison, PG&E, and San Diego Gas and Electric filed a joint proposal this week for a flat rate charge based on your income. And forget ghosting, now you can be fizzled.
Today we have hence that fizzling is a bit more passive-aggressive than simply disappearing, much as ghosting. Psychologist Dr. Jeff Rabbi describes it as a very slowly withdraws. This is the other person on the back burner, become less emotionally and physically available. Don't respond to texts or phone calls right away, and slowly, like a can of soda, in the clears, just lets the relationship fade away. Amy King, KFI News.
Sad. We're going to look at your drive at DKFI in the sky after sports with Wayne. The Kings claim third place in the Pacific Division after beating the Anaheim Ducks in the regular season closer. Adrian Tempe was the star of the night.
We'll get a chance to see how many teams factor in tonight because the Hats are coming down.
Final score 5-3. The Kings will start round one of the Stanley Cup Finals against the Edmonton Oilers. That's on Monday. In baseball, the Dodgers are back to open a home stand against the Cubs. Noah Syndergaard will handle the start for LA. First pitch set for 7:10. So you can listen to it in HD on the iHeartRadio app live from the Calvin Motors broadcast booth. The Angels are visiting the Red Sox with Patrick Sandoval on the mound. I'm Wayne Nesmith, KFI Sports.
Unfiltered, chlorinated tap water, it's safe, and it just doesn't taste very safe. It just doesn't cut it. So let me tell you about the Life Force Full House Water Filtration System. This is a filtering system, and it produces delicious, obviously very safe water straight from every tap in your house, and you can drink from the bathroom sink. It filters out chlorine, contaminants, with clean, healthy minerals, it's safe, and a Life Force system is maintenance-free. Once installed, just forget about it. You're done. Enjoy the water. You're bathing, you're cooking, you're washing dishes, your clothes, you are obviously drinking in what is effectively bottled water, and boy, would it cut a copy of this. And I've had a system for over 10 years. You can tell I'm enjoying it. And you can own a system for as low as $75 per month on approval or credit, and this ends April 30th. Call 800-803-2696. 800-803-2696. Visit LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSourceWater.com. Taste and feel the difference.
Tuesday financial update is sponsored by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is down 10, S&P up 13, Nasdaq gaining 33, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California, $4.90. Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Just for you since 1972. Still got weather from KFI. Still gray this morning. This gray, man, it's just taking a hold on Southern California. We do have a 20% chance of, say, your temperatures being a little bit cooler today. A little bit of mist and drizzle are possible. Otherwise, though, highs today should just be in the upper 60s. We'll make it into the low to mid 70s tomorrow. Move to upper 70s with more sunshine by Sunday. 54 right now in Irvine, 51 in San Clemente, 50 in Pasadena, 53 in Santa Monica. Let's get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky. Oh no, more pothole talk on the 210.
It never seems to stop. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, why do we have so many potholes after rain? But we do. Now listen up, last time around, if you were listening, it's the Michelin erosion, which is just the next stage is over. Just a little bit past San Diego. But they're working mostly in the right lanes. A couple of drivers that got flat tires in their cars, so it's a serious pothole, so just be careful. It's getting slower and slower, actually, getting physically on the over towards the road falls, looking pretty good. And some real good news for Colton comes through San Bernardino Freeway. Again, if you were listening at home before you left, which you always should do, west to the entertainment. So, not too bad. Again, the rest of the basin looking pretty good. West 105 recovered. It was really kind of slow from the 710 all the way into LA. Now it's just a little slow approaching the 110. And I want to remind you, a lot of fun this weekend. After the Long Beach Grand Prix all weekend long. All of Long Beach, well downtown and there by the beach. Seaside Way between South Line and Lindsay and Shoreline. And some other nearby streets. And the Stella Part 1. We got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. AFI in the sky, help get you there faster. I'm Jeff Paul. This hour of the Bill Handel Show brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. If you get hurt in an accident, choose the law firm with the experience to win. Choose Jacoby and Myers.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less pay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/recruiter. The smartest way to hire.
This is Jacob and Ron. If you've been in an accident, call 844-24-JACOB.
More stimulating fun.
And I have radio station.
Some people that changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depression, while taking more after stopping pill handle. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, symptoms of mood that are not typical for you, stop pill handle and call your doctor right away. And now, here's Real Handle.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Handle here on a Friday morning, April 14th, as we continue with the program. Some of the stories that we are looking at. Trending Fort Lauderdale, the weather. Usually we talk about the weather here. Man, let me tell you what's going on in Fort Lauderdale. Almost 26 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. Described as a once-in-a-thousand-year event. If you look at the video, that is, they're swimming, and there's more rain coming today. Go to the sunshine. It's the sunshine state, isn't it? Or are we the sunshine state? We are in, what is Texas? Or Sydney, what is Florida? What would they call it? They would call it, that's where my mother is. The whole state is full of Jewish yentes, old Jewish yentes. It's a yente state.
Florida is the sunshine state.
I was right.
Golden state.
There you go. I was right.
And the Lone Star state.
And don't ever do that to me again. Okay, that's one. That's one. Okay.
How many do I get?
That was it.
Goodbye.
That's actually your first one. So you get a pass. I'm the only one allowed to do that on this show. I don't want to let you know. The big story also, this has international implications, and that is the story of the classified intelligence leak that leaked on the internet. And a fellow who was arrested, this 21-year-old Air Force Reserve enlisted man, very low grade, the Air National Guard, and he was part of an intelligence wing. I mean, he was the intelligence world. And if you look at the website describing this particular intelligence wing, it describes it has a mission to provide worldwide precision intelligence and command and control, along with trained and experienced airmen. Okay, so with that being said, he has access to all of this information, highly classified information. And originally, he wasn't releasing it. He's part of this chat group on a platform, I think, called Discus, is that it? Where he shared with about 20 guys who are on there. They're gamers, a bunch of believe in God, think America's going to hell any hand after typical stuff. And he at first said, I have access, and they believe him, and so started sharing this intelligence information. And I mean, it is classified stuff. It includes the whereabouts, movements of high-ranking political leaders, tactical updates on military forces, insights into foreign governments to interfere with elections. I mean, it goes on and on. This is highly classified stuff. So the part that is also made a huge deal of and should not be is, oh my God, we're spying on our allies. Because if I'm going to spy on the Russians, we're going to spy on anybody who's a perceived enemy, sure. But we're spying on our allies. I'll tell you, everybody's got spies on everybody. You know, our staunchest ally. There was a guy by the name of Jonathan Pollard who, in the 80s, an American, who spied for Israel on military secrets the United States had. And he went to jail for 30 years, and Israel wanted him out, and it just never happened. He was finally let go after 30 years. And he went to Israel and became a citizen, etc. But, and of course, Israel had a lot of explaining to do, Lucy, as we, the same thing. And we spy on Canada, we spy on allies, we spy on everybody. And everybody, especially our enemies, of course, spy on us. So I don't know why that's a big deal, the fact that we are spying. Common knowledge, especially today with spying being done mainly by intercepting communication. Matter of fact, most of this information was gathered by intercepting communication, especially against the Russians. And so, hey, that's the reality. Now, the trick is not to get caught, and this is what happened. They got caught. It was fairly easy for the authorities, once it was leaked, to backtrack and get them, and they knew almost instantly. And the other part about this, which I think is a really interesting story, this had nothing to do with spying. This had nothing to do with somehow wanting to undermine the security of the United States. You know, this is not leaking to various sources around the world just to screw over us. Like, not at all. This is not mandated. None of that. This is a guy who simply wanted to brag and show his buddies what a terrific guy he is, who has access to this stuff, and I'll prove it to you. I'm a big guy. He was actually head of this group. And it was just, you know, my response is bigger than your response. That's the secret. Oh man, they fall out of this because this thing. Coming up, talking about the mental health crisis response a lot. We talked about it, you know, without the cops, people show up to call 988. I think is the number that's already out there. And you can call, and the response team shows up. No cops, social workers. Let me tell you how that's working out. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones. We're live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A potential $6 billion settlement to cancel thousands of student loan debts is moving forward after the Supreme Court rejected the challenge yesterday, but the settlement has nothing to do with the president's efforts to forgive student debt. President Biden does wrap up his 4-day trip through Ireland today. He's got to visit County Mayo, where some of his ancestors lived. And a European spacecraft has been sent to explore Jupiter and 3 of its 18 moons. A rocket was launched today from South America carrying a robotic explorer named Zeus. It will take 8 years to reach Jupiter. We'll get a look at your drive at KFI in the sky and the 101 in just a moment.
But like most small to medium-sized business owners, still there, one of the things I could never afford, you can't afford, is an HR person. And you should suffer for it. I certainly have. There's an answer. Can you imagine being able to hire an HR person starting at only $99 per month? You know, how is that possible? with Bambi.com. With Bambi.com, you get your HR person. Bambi helps you deal with your HR problems, like writing HR policies, sexual harassment training, hostile work environment, terminations. This is where I got in trouble. People complaining about other employees got things down the hall. Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. With Bambi, you get access to your own dedicated HR manager, available by phone, email, real-time chat. Go to Bambi.com, type in KFI under the radio drop-down when you sign up. Bambi, B-A-M-B-E-E, Bambi.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. It's a great start to the morning with still just a very slight chance of some mist and drizzle out there. Otherwise, highs today are going to be in the upper 60s to right at 70 with more sunshine this afternoon. Let's get a look at your drive at KFI in the sky and the 101 through Hollywood.
A little bit of a problem I want to warn you that. Now, the Hollywood Freeway has been in pretty good shape, not to worry there, but this is a northbound problem. Pretty much the start of the Columbia Pass right outside the Hollywood Bowl, or maybe on the top of the hill. So sorry, but got reports of a car on fire. So yeah, that's where it's on. Of course, fire department if they're not there already, they will be. So a little slow going through the Columbia Pass. Southbound again, it's still in pretty good shape. And North 5 is in good shape. We're slow getting through the 605 from the 91 up to the 605. That's good. From the 605 I'm saying, so it's a little slow here and there, but really not too bad at all. Leaving Calabasas, a little bit of a problem on second eastbound, Rusty flowing approaching Tampa. But after that, you're in fine shape, really, all the way over to the 134. More on that coming up. KFI in the sky, up 6 there. That's it. I'm just off.
Your new Toyota Camry is here. Your new RAV4. Your new Tacoma. The Toyota that you've been looking for is at your Toyota dealer now. Take home a bold new Camry and explore the premium style. Or down to the new RAV4. You want a tough Tacoma to take you. For great deals on your new Toyota, see your dealer today or visit Toyota.com. We make it easy.
Toyota.com is Toyota Central for all things Toyota. At Toyota.com, you can get the latest product information, compare models. You can search our inventory, find a dealer near you. You can even check out all the latest apparel. There's no great deal on a shiny new Toyota car, truck, or versatile SUV. Search at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Diversify your portfolio with an alternative investment that isn't tied to the stock or housing market. That's gold. Legacy Precious Metals has a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in real gold and silver online. That's right. It's so easy step. You can open an account, select your metal of choice, and choose to have them stored in the vault or shipped to your door. You'll have access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time, anytime, and see transparent pricing on each coin and bar. This puts you in complete control of your money. Gold hedges against inflation and against the volatile stock market. A truly diversified portfolio doesn't just have stocks and bonds, but different asset classes. Legacy Precious Metals' new platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver no matter how small or large with just a few clicks. And it's free to sign up. Create your account online at buylegacygold.com. Buylegacygold.com. Or talk to Legacy Precious Metals directly by calling 866-691-2173. Do you know what the three biggest problems are that people have with most clients? Think about it for a minute. You'd probably like to look yourself. You don't come when they say they will. They come to more after the job than what they quoted to a client. And they don't fix the problem right the first time. Who has time for that kind of aggravation? At Service Champions, our moments are different. We'll be there on time, right when we say we'll be there. We'll give you a first price deadline before we start. All of our funding services are backed for our Happy Money promise. It's simple. If you're not happy, you don't pay. For us, it's all about respect. For you, our customers. Call Service Champions right now for all of your funding needs. Our number is 833-777-7777 or find us online at servicechampions.com. Every Saturday for Unsolved. We'll talk with investigators about cold cases, challenging cases, even the most wanted. interviews aren't only interesting, they're making an impact. The word is getting out there, getting shared on your show and so it's up 56. It's the only show of its kind in Southern California. On the show with Steve Gregory tomorrow night at 7 on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. AM 640, Bill Handel. It is a Friday morning, April 14th, and some of the stories we are covering, as I said, Fort Lauderdale, like they've never seen before. It is crazy. And a suspect that was arrested. And at least in case we have some information about him, about God and guns and war secrets. And 21-year-old kid wanted to show how important he was. And huge intelligence lead. So before we get started on the mental health crisis story, here's your chance to win some dollars. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter the nationwide keywords on our website, Bills. That's Bills, BILLS. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/game. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION or SweetGames.com. But now you must enter the keyword online at our website, KFIAM640.com/cash. Winners are notified by email. Watch your email, maybe check your spam and junk folder to see if you've won. And we do this every other hour, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Over the years, we have been talking about the mental health crisis, how police respond, and how too many people get shot and get into altercations with the cops, and we find out later there's a whole mental health issue with caused the problem or with having involved in the problem. And Karen Down, the mayor, one of the things we talked about was we're launching the mental health crisis hotline. We call 988 and we get connected to the mental health practitioner. And this is in relation, it's like a call with someone is acting weird, someone's walking up and down the street talking to themselves, and you can obviously tell that they're nuts. And we've all seen people that are, and it's a heartbreaker, certainly not their fault, that are mentally ill. You know, you feel sorry for someone with cancer or someone with a broken leg or someone who has a very heavy injury. And somehow there is a morality to people who are mentally ill and severely mentally ill. Especially if you see them talking to themselves or walking in the middle of the street. I mean, it's tough. It really is.
I really like that.
So normally you call cops. Well, that's not what the purpose of 988 is. You call and they're going to connect you to a mental health practitioner. It's a whole different division of first responders. Okay, so that being said, it was, as a matter of fact, just let you know, this has been going on since the 1990s. Not so much mental health practitioners going out, but the police getting involved, de-escalating, and then realizing these people aren't a threat, and moving them on a 5150 to a facility or calling an ambulance. So the whole concept has been around for a long time. It's just really speeded up. So 989 is the hotline. This is who you call. If you would normally call the police and the person that you're calling about seems to be off his or her rocker, you go ahead and call this number. And on the day before it went live, which is July 15, 2022, the LA County Department of Mental Health said, okay, we are ready for a seamless rollout. And the services would include trained psychiatric mobile crisis response teams who can be connected through the 988 line when necessary. And the county would have privately contracted teams so that the crisis therapist could respond 24/7, and it was 18 hours a day before that. And if someone had a real problem between those times, or was in the window, that was a problem. So here we are 8 months later. None of that has happened. Hotline workers cannot directly dispatch health teams. As a matter of fact, if you call now, let's start with the fact that you're not connected directly to the teams that go out for the department that sends out the teams. No. Crisis counselors who answer the 988 hotline, what they do, they can't dispatch emergency teams. They transfer the call to a separate county hotline, same one you can call, and that organization cannot send out mental health workers. So you're not even talking directly to anybody. You call 911, you're talking directly to dispatch. You call 988, you're talking to someone who's talking to someone. And then they're going to decide. To give you an idea of how long it takes, in 9 out of 10 cases, the mental health workers take more than an hour to show up. 9 out of 10 cases. Over half of the time, the teams take more than 4 hours to show up. And in some cases, days to show up. This thing simply is not working. And there's even money out there. The Fed have in fact spent over $1 billion around the country for this specific kind of program. But you can't do anything about it. Or can't get it up to speed. Why? Well, one is establishing the bureaucracy those folks have to do it. I mean, there's not even a technology to call directly. Not yet. And the lack of training people. They just can't get people. And whose fault is that? That's not theirs. That is not a managed issue. So as of right now, in California, there are 13 of these centers. Around the country, there are 200, and that's it. And so this is literally an embryonic service. And then the question is, and this is my question, I'm going to call 988. I assume I'm going to get questions, much like a 911 dispatcher asks you questions. You know, is he breathing? Is he or she able to talk? Is responsive? So basically, how nuts is she or he talking to himself? A threat, carrying any kind of a weapon, where up and down the street, attacking cars. So I guess someone makes the call. It's just that I would think it's very, very different and difficult to make a call as to the state of someone's mental situation versus someone has a knife. That's an easy one. Someone has a weapon. That's an easy one. Someone is acting strange. Who doesn't act strange? I mean, I walk up and down these halls, and you could call 988 in 2 seconds on me. I mutter to myself. I bump into the walls because I have no balance. So, the system, not yet. And there's one thing that will happen because we have to reach the point where the cop is not utterly necessary, should not be at, or only if necessary, should be at these calls for people that are mentally ill. It could be, what happens is it escalates too quickly. And that is one of the big reasons. If mentally ill people don't respond, and how is the cop going to know someone is mentally ill? The call, someone has a weapon, a shooting takes place, the family goes, he was mentally ill, they should have known that. No. So a lot of de-escalation is in place. The most expensive trailer park in the country, maybe in the world, is right here in Southern California. And what a story that one is. And then Jim Keeney after 8 o'clock. KFI AM 640 with Dick and Jennifer Jones Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Police from LA and Delano say it was a painstaking effort to find the motorcycle rider who seriously injured a teenage boy in a hit-and-run crash in Boyle Heights. There was so much time, effort put into this case. LAPD Detective Daniel Ramirez said the boy's leg had to be amputated after the crash last month. Police collected evidence from the crash scene, pins at homes and businesses. They processed hits from the community and used surveillance video to track down the rider. He was arrested in his hometown of Banning earlier this week. Police say the crash was avoidable and the rider should have stopped. A motion claims an OC sheriff sergeant spied on an inmate's privileged jail theft calls and then filed new charges based on what he heard. Assistant Public Defender Scott Sanders says Sergeant Matthew LaPure clearly knew the calls were privileged because the lawyer called him out by name.
Throughout those calls, he is hearing communications about what's happening on the case. He's hearing communications about decisions on the case. He's hearing everything and he's hiding all of it.
The motion filed this week as part of an ongoing inmate phone recording scandal at jails in OC. DOC sheriff says the motion is being investigated. News is brought to you by American Vision Windows. Train tracks in South Orange County that slid toward the ocean have finally been stabilized, so passenger service between Orange and San Diego counties can resume. $1 billion in goods and services supported by the rail line. Congressman Mike Levin says he's applying for $4 million to study if 11 miles of track could be moved inland to escape coastal erosion. Nearly 3 million interstate passengers and 5 million commuter passengers each year. UC Irvine Professor Brett Sanders says 100 years of satellite images and aerial photos show beaches shrinking near the tracks in San Clemente till 2015. This marks the beginning of a rapid decline of the beach, likely a combination of higher than normal sea levels associated with the El Nino of 2014 to 2016, and also big swell waves that came in during Hurricane Marie in 2014. Federal Rail Administrator Amit Bose says portions of these billions are available through the new federal infrastructure law. Projects that are awarded through these programs will make communities safer and increase the mobility of people and goods. Passenger service that's been shut down since October resumes Monday. That's from in-state beach. Corbin namesake company, Aaron Kaczynski says Trump answered questions for about 7 hours yesterday when in August Trump pleaded the fifth hundreds of times.
Why he took the different approach, his attorney did not make clear, but in civil cases, jurors can draw an adverse inference when defendants decline to answer questions.
New York Attorney General Letitia James inflated Trump's net worth. A drug manufacturer has asked the Supreme Court to preserve access to its abortion drug without restrictions. Dental Laboratories filed its emergency request with the High Court restrictions. And the Biden administration has urged meat processors to stop giving kids child labor for dangerous jobs. The call comes as an investigation found more than 100 kids worked overnight for a company that cleans a slaughterhouse. We'll get a look at your drive with DJFI in the sky. We'll update the 101 after sports with Wayne. The Green Temple lost a hat trick and assist to lead the LA Kings to a 5-3 win over the Anaheim Ducks. The Kings face the Oilers in Edmonton on Monday for round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs. In baseball, Dodgers are back to open a home game against the Cubs. Noah Syndergaard will start for LA. First pitch is set for 7:10. You can hear it in 8:10 on the iHeartRadio app live from the South American broadcast booth. And the Angels beat the Red Sox with Patrick Sandoval on the mound. I'm Wayne Rabbit. A lot of advertising you hear, you see about special injury lawyers. Which one you go to? You're in Jersey. Car accident, slip and fall, come to. You didn't hear the name of the lawyer. Sometimes the lawyers themselves herself. So again, like here's where you go. Well, here's a suggestion. Here's a personal suggestion. Is you may want to visit handleonthelaw.com. Why? Because I took this up years ago, and I was asked constantly, where do I go? Send me a lawyer. Refer me. So I set up handleonthelaw.com. Lawyers who are experienced. Lawyers who know what they're doing. Lawyers who actually pay attention. Lawyers who I call if there is any kind of an issue. That's handleonthelaw.com attorney. So teenagers, slip and fall, car accidents, you may want to call them. If you do call Handle or you file, go to handleonthelaw.com. That's handleonthelaw.com. So now weather from KFI starts out gray again. It looks like there's still a slight chance of some drizzle or a light shower out there. That'll burn off though as the day goes on with more sunshine later. Highs up near 70. We'll make it into the low to mid-70s by tomorrow, mid to upper 70s by Sunday. 53 right now in Garden Grove, just 50 in Rancho Santa Margarita. You got your drive on the 101.
Hopefully you got your attention last report of your claims there for northbound now, northbound 101. A little bit before, we got a better location. A little bit before Universal Center Drive. Now I know City Fire has a house right there, so I'm sure they're on scene. But the backup is kind of serious. It's already about a 1 mile solid backup, so we know they have some lanes blocked there for sure. Now, Southbound Drive is still in pretty good shape, leaving the center on the valley, like Fullerton, of course, coming through the Clinton Center. So a pretty good size. Down through the 4 level. Mid-City LA, there's always something going on there. Westbound Santa Monica Freeway to 10. And Arlington, we've got what was the fast lane, that's no more, but they'll have to stop all traffic to get it out of your way. So that's slowing things down, going up to the 405. So well, it's still a pretty good drive. The Northbound 405 from Seal Beach all the way up to the airport. Only slow getting through 710, and the 710 itself in fairly good shape if you're southbound. And then you get to about the 105 from there through the 405. It's real slow. Hey, if I'm the guy, I'll get you there faster. I'm Jeff Bob.
Oh, what's wrong? When I look at my banking app, I think I'll never afford a car. Oh, so look at Roto.com. They have tons of deals and a great selection. Check it out. Wow, great prices. Ugh, now what? Now I gotta decide what color to buy. Find a newer pre-owned car of your dreams seems just a few clicks. And then return. No hassle. Ready, set, Roto. Start saving now by downloading the Roto app or check out ROTHSCHILD.com. I've tried a lot of language learning apps lately, and Rosetta Stone is hands down my favorite. I love that it teaches you phrases you can use in real-life conversations, and they have the best speech recognition tool. It tells you how accurate your pronunciation is, so you can really nail your accent in almost any language you want, like Spanish, Italian, Chinese, and Korean. Or get access to all 25 languages for life with Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription. Check it out at rosettastone.com. I recommend NBC Films presents a new six-part original series from NBC News Studios, hosted by John Leguizamo. Leguizamo Does America, beginning Sunday, April 16th at 10 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC and streaming on Peacock. Come on, let's go.
Don't wait for your 20% tax credit. This 2 credit shows the government making slow, but small business can't. Our ERTC loan offers cash now for your tax credit with funding in as little as 72 hours. ERTC loans keep your business going with interest-only payments for up to 12 months. For more info, call 800-381-0187. That's 800-381-0187. And go to bizecredit.com/ERTC loans for full terms and conditions.
As well, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're committed to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking if in fact our higher standards mean fresher produce. Well, fresh for everyone.
Save even more on your favorites. Simply mix and match 5 or more participating items and get them for just 99 cents each during our 99-cent sale going on now. Southern California Edison wants to remind you that we all have the power to make a clean energy California. Moist Line, twice every Friday between 3 and 4 on KFI. April 14th, as we dissemination of the highly classified information that was put up on the net by a 21-year-old airman out of, I think it was Boston, Cape Cod. And this guy is, I wanted to show you this guy, a whole group of cat buddies. That works, sure, why not? And they were on a private jet, and the information flowed out of that, and they're arrested. It's just repercussions are insane. Now, mortgage rates. So I want to share with you a place that is fairly unique here in Southern California. It's called Paradise Cove. It's up in Malibu. And it's basically, most of it is on a bluff with panoramic views that are over the Pacific Ocean. Also, there's beachfront there, direct access to a secluded little cove where you can see surfers. And this is where billionaires buy houses. The waterfront. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm talking about an individual house. Like 40 million, 100 million, 120 million. I mean, it's really crazy. Well, above that is a housing development where you can get a place for $5,000. What is that about? In Malibu? For $40,000 or even $300,000. What is that about? Trailer park. That's it. The trailer park. And it is the most expensive trailer park in the United States, probably the world. And if you go there, if you talk about a collective place, you go there and you see these ramshackle trailers, single-wide trailers that are falling apart, that have been there for decades and decades. And right next to it is the most luxurious trailer you can possibly find, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So how do they go for, in some cases, millions of dollars? There's one listed for almost $6 million right now. Well, let me tell you, to live there, you go to a house near there, and it's tens of billions of dollars. And here, you get a place overlooking the ocean, Paradise Cove, for 400 grand. Who's not going to jump on it? Well, it's a long list of people that would certainly do it. Now, here's a couple things about trailer parks. You don't own the land. What you do is you own a trailer on top of the land, and a trailer is not a house. The trailer is a car, it's a vehicle. So your property taxes are basically vehicle registration. And you can have a hugely expensive property, now you're going to pay vehicle registration. So that's an upside. Also, at some point you have rent control when you do up there. So they can't raise the rent too much. I think the high-end rate is $4,000 a month, which if you talk to anybody in a normal trailer park will say, we can't afford $4,000 a month. I mean, we have a nice double wide. I would live in a double wide, depending where, independent. And when it's a little spectacular, you know that. And the interior designers actually go inside. But some of them are real